G'day, welcome, Early Crow, episode 49, brought to you by Makita. Right now, get amazing bonuses with selected Makita XGT 40 volt and 80 volt max kits and combos. Limited time only. Visit makita.com.au for details. Makita XGT, more intelligent, more efficient, more power, more Makita. Boys, how are we? We'll start with Pratty before we get into the proper... just gonna we'll get you out of the way, Pratty, before we focus on our man.
Yeah. So
how are you, mate?
the comment is next. Let's go to Paps and let's chat about this game of football.
Where does Saturday afternoon sit on the podium? It's top three. I'm not going to debate that at all. I won't hear of it. Whereabouts does it sit for you personally on the performances you put on for the Sydney Swans? Because I thought Saturday night guaranteed you a spot as a lifetime great of that football club.
Sure. It's always nice to contribute in finals, and it was. I didn't do much until the last quarter, but it's all about moments in the last quarter, and I took them. So it was up there. But I think as a whole team, as a team, it's probably one of the better wins I've been a part of as well.
We'll get to the team. We're not going to do this stuff. We'll
Cold
take
water
it a week
and
at a
team.
time.
Let's
We'll take it a week at a time. We got that.
Nah.
What about in terms of anxiety as a professional, or pressure, or any self-doubt? Compared to a normal preparation, it wasn't ideal. You weren't 100%. You were playing not that far out from the start. Is there a difference to your mentality? Was there extra pressure on yourself?
Good question, because I've actually been really been worried about my ankle mentally for probably the last couple of weeks. Just about is it going to be right? Am I going to be right? Is it going to go again? And that's probably really the only thing I've been worried about, rather than the game, and sort of consumed a lot of time. You probably, I don't know, as a AFL player, it's pretty good, but when the stress starts to come and the finals start to get closer, I was pretty stressed about it. And we've actually got a sports psychologist, Emma Murray, who is well known in the game. And
Emma Murray,
yeah,
via Richmond.
Yeah, I've been speaking to her a bit, and she helped me out a lot this week coming into the game, and it was I've never done it before. Some stuff that she did with me, and it's definitely helped me,
She's
perform,
booked
that's
in
for sure.
now for the rest of this season and probably the next.
Yeah, I think so. She helped a lot coming into the game, and cleared my mind a bit.
Is the pressure and the anxiety because you can't control that? Like, it might just go or it might be good. You can't influence it overly, other than the rehab that you've done.
Yeah, I think it's just about trusting it's okay, because it actually is okay. It obviously is, because I got through the game. It's a bit like anything. If you the mind is a weird thing, and he talks about. Don't want to go into too much of stuff.
No, go into a bit of it. This is fascinating.
But like the subconscious mind and your normal mind, it's like your everyday stuff tells you a wrong story, and you're always worried about stuff. But when you dig deeper into your subconscious mind, it actually tells you the truth. And she sort of dug deeper into that and got that out of me. And it was definitely helped me. And I think I think throughout the year she's helped us a lot. She's been involved a little bit, and personally this week she helped me a lot, and I haven't really done it before. But all the other boys that use her as well she's really good at what she does.
Now, I assume that getting through that training session where you ran it near 100% also gave you just that little bit of extra confidence when you were probably running out on Saturday going, well, I've done the hard yards during the week. I gave it a red-hot crack at training, and now it's just time to go out and free the mind and go and get the footy.
Yeah, it's so I probably only really did 1 week of training coming into the game, like with contact, sort of contact, not much contact at all. But you sort of train at that game pace, and I had one session that I really had a crack at and got through, and then sort of was pretty light for the rest of the week, and sort of did a sort of max sim for about, I don't know, 8 to 10 minutes on the Thursday, and that was me done for the week. So probably had one big session with training and match sim before a final. It's a little bit underdone, but it was good to get through.
Because I spoke to you Saturday, speak to you most Saturdays, like mornings. You were more anxious than normal. And I thought that just added, again, to the performance. The context around what you went through and were dealing with to the performance you put out there. It was absolutely amazing from my point of view. Perhaps, though, Praddy, we've learnt that maybe a little bit of steam was released. You know, he revs. He revs. What you see it on the footy field, I don't think that's far off what he's like at home when he's roaring home a horse. So he's got those revs building up, and looks like potentially he might have taken that out on a Toyota Corolla on the Anzac Highway.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've actually had a car accident before the game, going to the game, which is bizarre, which has added to the nerves and anxiety a little bit. But yeah,
No
it was
one was
all right.
hurt. Everyone's okay.
Yeah, it was all good. It was all good. Just a bit of a Mazda I ran into, and just the back of it. Some guy tried a legal turn left, and the Mazda slammed on the brakes, and I've slammed on the brakes, and it banged straight into his boot, smashed his boot up, and
Bit of a fender bender.
Yeah, the old
Yeah,
Palisade just crumpled. Did it crumple?
yeah. Well, it's a bit of plastic, not too bad. It's a bit of like, it's not going to cost me much. I'm obviously insured and things like that, but a bit of a crack and things like that. But I reckon they'll just be able to take that off and put it on. So I reckon I'm all right. But poor old Mazda, it's in a bit of strife. It's the boot's no good, and I don't think you could open the boot and stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see what that comes to. But yeah, everyone was okay. He was a good man, and he sort of was. He didn't know what was going on. I was wearing an all Sydney kit, and he still didn't realise what was going on. So that was actually handy. But I got a few toots on the side of the road and things like.
I would have paid so much money to roll past that.
If it was in Melbourne, it would have been all over the bloody media. No, like if AFL players in a car accident before the game in Melbourne,
Was it
it would
Tyreek
be.
Hill this morning?
Yeah,
for
he
the
likes
Miami
shit like
Dolphins.
that, yeah. But yeah, I got a few toots, and then obviously someone's known someone at the club and seen me, and then the player development managers come up to me and said, "You're all right," and I'm, yeah, all good, because I didn't tell anyone. Because if I told Horse, he would have been going off, and anyway. So I kept it real quiet, and no, it was good.
Horse should have driven you home after the game. Should have dropped you off. Isaac, where do you want me to drop you off, mate? Errol, Chad, you just let me know, boys. I'll drive you wherever you need to go.
Yeah. Bubble wrap.
I had to bloody get the dim sim king home. He was he'd had a few, so it was
Was
all
your
right.
best on?
No, he was actually all right. I think he was. I don't even reckon he could have drank in that game. He would have been that stressed. So, but he was definitely tipping a few in later.
Love it, mate. What was it like running out onto the G on Saturday? Could you feel that it was a bigger difference than a normal home and away game?
Yeah, I think it was sort of a weird one. When we were doing the anthem, it was sort of a little bit. They were still sort of flowing in the gates, because at the SCG it takes a while when it's a packed game to get in, and then once the bounce sort of come, it was it was definitely rocking, and yeah, it was one of the loudest I've ever heard it. Just every moment was going off. Every free kick, every bloody boundary throw in. When someone would run onto it and have a bounce, it would just roar, and every goal was amazing. So it was just electric, and I can't wait for a couple of weeks to be back there again.
All right, let's set it up. Firstly, I learnt so much about the rules of AFL. I was so unaware and would have assumed for sure that if I behaved how Toby and some other Giants behaved when you had a free kick, regardless of where the clock was, like, you would have got a 50-metre penalty and I'd given away a goal. What we've learnt is you can sort of basically... Toby could have put that thing over the lady stand if he's big enough and strong enough, and it would have been play on. That's what I gathered. Then you've gone the attempted barrel with absolutely no conviction. That's the one time you weren't... It was this little lob. It was a little like half 9-iron. He's lipped up. It's on. What you're allowed to, please take us inside, because of all the great things you did on Saturday, top 2 for me, this bit.
Yeah, well, Tobe, he's come at me and he's sort of grabbed me, and I was like, oh, stuff it, the siren's gone anyway. And I grabbed him and he's tried to throw me, and I sort of caught him and actually got on top of him, which was huge. And he was throwing
massive.
a couple under there, and I was on top of him, sort of just there. And we was exchanging a few verbals that probably shouldn't be said here. But yeah, it was good. I definitely got red out of him. He's seen red, and I got under his skin, which is exactly what I was looking for. And I was actually a little bit worried. I was like, "Geez, is this going to really spark him up?" Because I don't know, I see a bit of myself in Toby. I love the way he plays. Respect him. Probably my most respected player in the comp, and just his competitiveness and his just the way he goes about it. Like just that, even him just coming up to me and just going like that. I love that. It's just good. Big final, dark, like a rivalry. And we're just two sort of just fiery blokes that going at it. So but yeah, I was a bit worried because he can go either way. He can sort of just start to dominate and flick the switch. So I thought I might have ignited something, and he got a goal assist early on in that second quarter. I'm like, oh god. But then Ramps sort of clamped him down, and it was a very good job by Rams.
Understated the job he did. The respect that Toby has amongst all of you, the way he's spoken about. Rampy kicked more goals than he did, and he played on him. So you might have fired him up, but it didn't improve his performance at all. I think we should shout out Farjak, because I think potentially watching a little bit of UFC gave you the upper hand there to like get on top and like really mount. And
bit of takedown defence. And then
yeah,
love it.
Bit of that stuff. Does it completely gas you, that sort of behaviour? Like,
Mate,
I was the hardest after that.
Yeah, I was absolutely cooked. I was glad it was the siren, the quarter time, because I was still blowing walking out, and I think Toby was actually yelling out, you because he was obviously you're puffed, perhaps you're puffed. You're tired, mate. You're tired. You haven't played in 5 weeks. You're tired. And anyway, I obviously wasn't tired in the last quarter.
Got him, go.
Shit.
And it was kind of like it was a bit like wrestling or the UFC, where you took apart like your weight division, and the next thing you know, this big girthy heavyweight just rolls out and he says, "Do you want some?" What was that like?
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise.
Big Jace looks like he hasn't said no to a beer or a pie in about 3 years. Like he's got the rig of a man that gets in the gym and trains, but doesn't say no to food or drink.
Yeah, it's a big chest. I don't think I would want to take him on anytime soon. But I was a bit surprised he was there. But anyway, it was all in the spur of the moment, I think. Just
added to the narrative. Just got better, didn't it, Brady?
Oh, and I was holding the kid. Michelle's like, "Oh, I'm going to go to the supermarket. Can you watch him?" And I'm thinking, the fucking Swans game's just started. You can't. Not right now. And he's just going to sleep in my arms. And then Paps has got an in with Toby to watch.
Oh, you should have seen Das off his head.
Yeah, he's going nuts.
Off his head.
Doesn't he? Isn't Das usually the quiet one?
I go, "That's Paps. He's got him. He's on top of him. He's on top of him. Look." And he's going, "Yeah."
That's awesome.
Oh,
that's so good. That definitely, they put a fire in that. Like, there was already enough emotion in the game already, and that just, that definitely took it up a notch. That made me glued to the screen for the last 3 quarters for sure.
We've spoken throughout the podcast, and it fascinates me, and I think it would interest our listeners a fair bit. What I loved, and you and I talk about this stuff, and you grin like you get it, like I'm on the money. There was a disgraceful head-high free kick about 3 minutes earlier that cost the Swans a goal, where Melican just tackled the bloke, but he roughly got him high, but he ducked his head.
Yeah.
Costly goal. My mail is from Clarkey, who was at the grounds, that he saw Paps, and after he blew off about the result, he just did like a little cheeky grin, because a minute and a half after sort of realised, oh, hang on, if they're paying that, I'm on here. 2 minutes later, Stewie Diver milked it to perfection. Whitfield was headless. And you went back and you kicked that left foot snap that you've spoken about, so you could go a check side, you could go a drop punt. Talk us through that, and talk us through, was it the lack of running in the rehab and a little bit more lifting that's just sort of changed the celebration a little bit? Because did you notice P-Rad as a little bit more sort of like...
Yeah, there was a lot more, I've been working biceps for the last...
He's a bit girthier than...
Yeah, 100%.
I was a bit closer. So I'd rather be there than 10 or 15 metres out. So when it's closer, it's a left foot snap. But I'd kick, that's sort of my spot before the game as well. Like I would have had 10 to 15 snaps there before the game, so I was pretty confident that I was going to kick it. So I sort of had my sort of target across the field that I sort of aim at roughly, and just kicked up on it.
Which handball did you like the most? Because the score involvements in the direct assist, and you were just lighting it up. When Will kicked that goal, are you straight over to him telling him like you are welcome, or is it just about the boys?
I think I gave him a little wink, maybe, but no, it's usually I'm not much of a good handball. I don't know where the fuck I was pulling these handballs from, but I don't know, that extra touch in rehab that I was doing because I couldn't train, so it was alright. Someone said you never handball inside 50. Which is probably said to me today, so I was, it was good.
That doesn't answer the question though. Which was the better handball?
Yeah.
Oh, the one to Wilbur, I reckon.
Yeah, same.
But yeah,
that was outrageous.
The set shot. What were the confidence levels like?
It was a little bit of a down breeze that way. It was sort of swirling a little bit, but it was definitely and that's the end that I sort of like as well. We always kick from. Yeah, I was pretty confident. Sort of, I flushed it, so it was good. But I think, I actually was good because when I was lining up, the umpire actually didn't line me up that well, so I was actually already to the right of Perriman, so I didn't have to really run around much, so he couldn't really call me play on. So I was just going straight at the goals, but I was actually already right, so I didn't really have to run around, so he couldn't run. That sort of helped me a little bit, but I hit that nice. I actually nearly went early, and I was like, "Oh fuck, is it going to go in?" But then it went in.
The final quarter, that's what got us going. It was just an enormous momentum roller coaster. Jake Lloyd, big, like the biggest game in 2 or 3 years, in my opinion. He was enormous. I reckon that's his
nearly best ever.
Yeah, like big stage, big moments, took them all on. Chad got warm, got going. Just the class that you have and the natural ability to read ball flight when he kicks that filth out of the back line, and it floats, but you read the float and you beat whoever he was when he had every possible. Beautiful work, quick gather. Isaac's ability to know you were probably going to win that, and the cheeky, he palms Whitfield before you've handballed it kind of thing.
Yeah, like in midair. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy. He's
What was that like? Like, just talk about it. Talk about the relief, how proud you are. Run us through it.
I don't like talking too much about myself, but
Well, I thought that moment was absolutely enormous. You didn't panic. You kept your feet, like fundamental stuff.
Yeah.
And then you kept it simple. You just fed it back into the freak who was just on. Like, he was just going, hey, get on, boys. I've got this. What's it like?
Yeah, it was good. I actually went early on the vision. I jumped early. I've just got my fingertips into it. Because it's a 3/4 ground stoppage, I was playing a bit deeper on the day, and I didn't think we have a tall on the field at that time. So I was deep, and the 3/4 ground stoppage, they sort of always pull one back. Like every team sort of has a safety, so they will have an extra, and they'll sit deepest. So I was sort of in between in case of that kick, and it's sort of a bit of a floater, which helped. So then Iden didn't know where it was going. I sort of ran and jumped and got the spoil, and then I sort of seen Haynes, and it was you just give it to him no matter what. I think you'll see I kick to him a lot of the times, and just seeing him and sort of hit it nice on the handball, and he's fended off. I think the commentary was perfect to the Rolls Royce Heaney, and just goes bang. Which was just an amazing game from Haynes. He's done it. Geez, I don't know how many games he's won for us this year. Just put us on the back, and when we're not going that well, he's going well in the first half. So he's trying to get tagged, and he's still dominating. Some of the stuff he does is just incredible. He's just so tough and skillful.
He took mark of the century almost, and that, and he also I thought you fed him one of the great pills all time, and it was also quick feed, and he almost waited just a little bit just to flare it up, and just stuck it out there like a wide receiver, like he had a glove on, like sticky gloves.
Yeah, we do have a good connection. We've built a nice connection over the years. We sort of know where to lead, and he's legit cash from either pocket snaps. He's the best snapper I've ever seen. Set the shot, lines it up, left, right. He'd kick 90%. He'd kick 90 out of 100, I reckon. But so when you got it there, you're pretty confident. And when you see him one-on-one with anyone, I think he was pairing him at the time, so I was pretty confident there.
I think that's enough on Tom. But honestly, just so impressed, so proud of you. What a performance. But as you're going to say, it's really good, but the job's not done. Start again.
Exactly right.
Start again.
He already knocked that over in the first minute.
We get that. Let's talk about Braden Campbell.
Oh, what an impact.
And he just announced himself enormous. So good that you might think about leaving him as a sub. He was so deadly.
Yeah.
He turned the game. As good as Heaney was, and as good as you were, and everyone did their bits, you're still behind.
Yeah, he was unbelievable. The intercepts, the spoils, the turnovers, middle of the ground, scoring goal. What do you have? I think he had 10 in the last quarter, a goal and a goal assist, probably 6 score involvements or something like that in a quarter.
He won't get a stat for that 85-metre torp that he chased down and pressured.
Yeah, and then he got it.
That was unbelievable, that chase. I couldn't believe that because you're watching on the screen, you can't see the player who's chasing.
Yeah.
And then and then you look at it, you're like, is that fucking 60? That's not Campbell, is it? There's no way. He just kicked the ball.
In hindsight, if he goes 5 metres left and keeps it in play, he's close enough to cause a big error.
Yeah.
He put so much pressure on. Was it Taylor who grabbed the ball?
No,
and when when Iden grabbed it and he turned and looked around, he was like, oh, fucking hell, Campbell's just here. Where did he come from? He put so much pressure on. I was so impressed.
He was unbelievable. For a young player to come on and do that in the big finals, massive. And with the grandfather dying the day before, it was massive.
And then I think you said before about Chad Dicko, I think he had 13 disposals, 7 clearances and 5 score involvements in the last quarter on Saturday.
It was almost like they thought they had it won. They sort of said, "Hey, we've gone at it head to head, and we've just about beaten them. They'll probably start to settle and think about next week. We might even order some beers," but they didn't know that we were coming, and we don't stop. And Braden Campbell came on with the freshest set of legs I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Logan kicked that big, thick bomb. Just little things were beautiful, and it sets up beautifully because we've got a lot of momentum. Got another week off. The best small forward in the game comes back, delivers. He's got another week off. Eat as many lols as he wants. Keep that ankle right. Get on with it. What's the next week look like?
Going tomorrow. Had a couple of days off. Little light session, then day off Wednesday. Watch Get a Fix run, which would be nice. Hopefully, hey,
you go?
Yeah, go. Yeah, it's at Randwick. So hopefully, what price is it? I think it's a good price, surely.
Yeah, Get a Fix is $12 on Wednesday. Barry at 6, Kieran McAvoy.
Yeah, thought it'd be around about that, but you just never know. Hopefully, it goes back to its first up run, and it's definitely a chance. So Wednesday I'll go to that, and then Thursday I think we train again, and maybe Saturday, and then it's just a normal week after that. So it'll be good. Pretty quiet sort of week, and I'll be definitely watching the footy Friday and Saturday night, obviously.
Oh, well, let's talk about the other games. So Geelong turned up and just put on an absolute clinic on the power, and they are now under so much pressure, but they're at home. Ken's under enormous pressure. Butter's under pressure. I kind of like them.
You like Port this weekend? I'm on the opposite camp. I think the Hawks have just got so much belief, and they haven't, I heard I wish I remember who it was on the radio saying about how it took Sam Mitchell a few weeks to buy into them doing celebrations and stuff, but it just releases pressure for them on the day, and that's how they make Saturday fun, by enjoying themselves and being a bit leery and all that stuff. I thought the Bulldogs would roll the Hawks on the weekend. I was so impressed by how the Hawks played. The bonus for Port Adelaide is, I suppose, they go in as underdogs on.
Yeah, that's what I mean. At home,
but the Hawks are airborne. Fuck, the Hawks are so airborne at the moment.
My theory is that the Swans Giants game was like a Cox Plate or a Caulfield Guineas. Like, the tempo was unbelievable compared to the other games I watched. Now, you can't knock Geelong because you can't race against yourself. Hawthorn is going to get into the better tempo, the faster tempo, the bigger pressure. I'd hate to have to go to Port this week.
Yes, I think it's a tough assignment going to Port Adelaide. I think Ken will get them going. They've got to turn around quick, but I think they can. Hawks go in as favourites, which is a different ball game. Yeah, I love watching them play. They, to be honest, surprised me. They beat Dogs as well. So
we talked about we chatted the whole game through on WhatsApp, and we were all in awe of the way they play footy. Is great to watch.
It is.
Yeah, it's good. It's it's good. All the small forwards running around going well. It's nice to see. It's sort of like a little family, the small forward crew in the league. You sort of get a few messages. Ginny messaged me on Saturday and got around him. I got around him the other night. So it's good.
He was silk, wasn't he? He was pure silk. Good. He was clean and crisp and made great decisions.
He's good. And the Wizard, I love watching
let him go, Praddy.
Well. What was that, sorry, DK?
I can't believe the Pies said no.
Yeah, I can. I think change of environment, sometimes it just brings the best out in people, and good on him for taking that opportunity. He's I've been enjoyed watching him play footy this year. He's been electric. He's had a few, what did he have? A couple of 30 touch and 2-goal games. That's fucking freakish. Very, very freakish.
The Brisbane game, dot ball.
They're going to be a bit concerned, Brisbane, don't they, that they keep going out to fast starts and then the brakes get slammed on at about 3/4 time. I genuinely thought there was a point where Carlton might keep coming back here.
I think the benefit for us, the fan, of what's been a really even year is we didn't get on the weekend, but this weekend shapes up to just be 2 brutal contests, and then there'll be 2 more, and then there'll be a grand final. The Brisbane Giants game will just be relentless, and how the Giants travelling off the back of the brutality that was Saturday afternoon. I can't wait, and the NRL's kicking off too.
It's going to be that Giants-Brisbane game. Both games, to be honest, but Giants-Brisbane game is going to be one of the great games, I reckon.
They cracked in round 20, and it was real physical. It was finals like.
Yeah. Well, because Brisbane jumped them, didn't they? And then Giants come back. It's going to be a great match. I was sitting on the couch yesterday thinking, fuck me, I'm not playing this week because I'm cooked. But I'm sure they're
Was that from that, or was that from the 800 bags of lollies that you ate on Saturday night after the game?
Yeah, a bit of both.
Yeah, I suppose onto the NRL then, boys. We've got 4 cracking games, I reckon, this weekend. We start off finals. Yep, first week of finals. We start off with the first final. We've got Penrith versus Sydney, and the Panthers are 7.5-point favourites. Dicko, what are your thoughts this week for Penrith v the Roosters?
I think potentially it's going to be the best match of the round. Panthers are a machine. Roosters well-oiled, though. I think if Sam Walker wasn't injured, it'd probably be like a 2.5, 3.5 point line. So if they can overcome that setback, Penrith have got to be more and more vulnerable as it rolls on. Is Cleary back? Do we know?
Yeah, is Cleary back?
It says, just brought up the NRL website now, all eyes on Nathan. Stars rested and ready.
That line will fluctuate severely on the news of whether he is or isn't playing. It's a great kick-off to the NRL Finals. It shapes up to be like a proper good finals for the NRL. I can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think I'd be leaning towards Penrith just because of those injuries from the Roosters. And certainly if McCleary's back, it'd be tough to get done.
They definitely took their foot off the pedal just a little bit on the weekend as well. They'll be fresh coming into the weekend, I reckon. Second game, which is Saturday, the earlier game, 4 o'clock start. We've got the Storm take on the Sharkies. Storm are 9.5-point favourites. It's just a lock, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't want to say it because I don't want the Storm to win, but I think Storm just surely can't get it done. But I could stop COVID.
We need to be careful of that. We're all essentially, I think we're all sort of Storm men. I'm from Cronulla, but I've just never really gone for them, and I'm concerned now that Paps is stamping them. I mean, yeah, if it wasn't for punts, would have run last. So, how did the Storm get beat though? Whether they cover that line is another question.
Yeah,
but they are just like a well-oiled machine rolling through. Have they even been near top revs or not? They could have a heap up their sleeve.
They dropped a 60 bomb as well on 50 on the Broncos going into finals with minor premiership in the bag.
Yeah.
That's just outrageous stuff. Away as well. They're a scary proposition, I reckon. That could be a hurt locker of a game.
It might be a different kettle of fish though, Praddy, taking your foot off slightly as a player when you're coached by Craig Bellamy.
Yeah, true. You're definitely be a chance of getting dropped if you're not putting the foot down, hey.
Or severely abused.
One of the two. And on that note, we'll go on to the next game. We've got the Cowboys versus the Knights. I think this is a bit surprising. Cowboys are 6.5-point favourites against the Knights.
Well, the Knights have to travel to North Queensland. That'll be the majority of that difference. The Knights are in form. Kalen Ponga looks really tidy. They're structured. They're trucking nut really well. His kicking game's vital to them.
Yeah.
He's so dangerous when they get momentum. Cowboys are very, very hard to trust. But their best is good. And
Ponga was good yesterday.
And they had to win. I'd be very, very close to taking a little bit of Newcastle.
Love it. And then the last game of the round, which is on Sunday, the question is, will the Sea Eagles turn up? They got dismantled by the Sharks yesterday or the day before. Bulldogs are 1.5-point favourites against the Sea Eagles at home.
When I grew up in the Shire, you hated the Dogs because they were like Bankstown, Canterbury, yuck. A guy I grew up 2 doors from, Cameron Serrato, is now their coach, and they have been an underdog side for 5-6 years, I think, and they've built and they are building nicely, and there's a lot to like about them and the way that they go about it. And I think if we had a bet after, say, 6 weeks of this season, to think we're talking about them being in the finals is unbelievable. Outside of the Storm, a little bit of heart is with the Bulldogs in this final series. Danger game, though, versus the Eagles, because we saw, they were awful on the weekend, but they have Turbo, who, when on, dangerous and dynamic as they get in rugby league.
Going to be a good game.
It's 2 teams coming off 2 pretty bad losses too, so...
Will they resting players, though?
Both at home, yeah. There was a few out, but
Where is this game?
At the Doggies.
Out west.
Yeah, the game's at the Core Stadium out west.
The old Olympic Stadium, Homebush. A mile to get to. Not that far if you live in Canterbury, I guess. People from Manly... Some of them might not have been there since they played in the grand final or the Olympics were on. That's how far it is from Manly and how good it is to live in Manly. They might... The crowd here would fascinate me as a boy who grew up in New South Wales and was always like AFL versus NRL crowd-wise. This game has the potential to have an enormous, enormous crowd because it's a massive stadium, perhaps, isn't it? So the Bulldogs fans have been waiting a very, very long time to get into the finals. I can't wait for this game. When's that? Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m.
Yeah, Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m. Great time slot.
Yeah,
to round the NRL out as well, we need to announce the winner of the NRL tipping competition. Stephen has won by 2 tips over Mitch. So Fuzz31, get in contact in our DMs, mate, and just send us a screenshot of the tipping app saying that you're number 1, and we'll organise that $200 NRL shop voucher for you. Well done, mate. You got there and hung on with the points with 2 rounds to go, so well done.
Full credit to you. Congratulations. Look forward to getting back on top next year. Let's talk NFL.
Well, let's before we go to the NFL, let's actually talk about that. Let's see how the three of us did. So,
Mate, I didn't put me tips in once.
Yeah, well, I finished 19th. I
tied with you.
I've forgot a few times. Let me go down and have a quick look.
I tied with you.
We're talking the NRL tips, mate. You finished 40th in our league out of 60 people who went in our league for the NRL tipping.
Well, that's disgraceful for the other 19 people, you reptiles. I didn't put my tips in once. How did they get beat by me?
Yeah. So did I come last?
No, you were in the middle. So I finished 19th, you were about 23rd, and Dicko was 40th.
How has he beaten me when we haven't put a tip in each?
Well, there would have been an auto select for sure.
Auto select, and I changed it to put the favourite in, and you would have the away team. I put it as a favourite.
That's so embarrassing for the other blokes. I really hope the other guys just had a model on that failed, and they didn't actually try every single week and lose to the away teams.
Should we run over that NRL tipping though? You and I finished equal, Dicko. Above 500. That's not bad, considering I didn't know what NRL was 6 months ago.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I'm wrapped.
You fought hard.
Proper.
I'm embarrassed for Matty Punts. I thought that Matty Punts' behaviour sort of last night and this morning was disgraceful.
Toys out of cot.
I mean, yeah, pick up all your toys, Matthew. For someone who has behaved at such an elite level of petulance for the majority of his adult life, to be so offended when people don't know the rules of his little game, disgraceful. And I know he's listening, and your behaviour doesn't surprise me, but it does embarrass me.
I kind of like it. It doesn't embarrass me. That was
not as much as your performance has this year in the NRL. It's embarrassing. For a bloke that bets on... We used to go to Miranda Fair and fling pickles at the wall and bet on which pickle would drop down on the ground first. Like, he's been betting since he was in high school, and he's still, like, what he did in the NRL this year was a disgrace. And so was his behaviour today. And that'll wrap up NRL. And now we'll move to the next disgrace, which is Justin McInerney, who, along with Matthew, they're kind of like, it's as if we are their parents, Tom, I feel. And Praddy's like their coach, and we're their parents. And they sort of think that they're in the back of the car and they can behave like absolute children and really just like do whatever they want. And if it can cause a bit of chaos, they'll do it. And the shit they spoke last night for the custard they served up this morning in the NFL, unbelievable. What time did Juz get up, do you reckon? And was he like 0-1 at that point in time, or did he watch them all lose? Because he went 0-3 after telling us
not even close either.
One of them was.
Yeah, but fuck him. Yeah, so McInerney reckons he's a gun NFL punter, and I cannot wait to see all the results. I'm going to ask him every week what his are, and I'm going to record him, and I'm going to let you know, see if he actually wins.
There's nowhere to hide, and if he tries to hide, we'll report that to you as well. They both think that they are God's gift to NFL punting, and I think Matty Punts has started 1-2 or 2-1.
2-1 for punts. Same with you and Kingsley. Of course, Kingzone just happens to be up the top of the leaderboard again as well.
Yep, and Juzzy started 0-3. Our NFL slide will be there for you on our socials each and every Sunday afternoon, night. I suppose the talking point out today is the Bengals got rolled by the Pats.
You think Punts would have been in a better mood? He's a mad Patriot supporter, and he's had a W, but clearly he must have bet on the Bengals as well, hey?
See, like 5:25 this morning, he crowed about the Pats.
Yep.
5:27, my ESPN app updated, the Bengals scored. Like, the power is unbelievable. The Patriots went on to win, but Matty Punts did his best to try and stop him. But the Bengals, Joe Burrow, they got knocked off early. Everything else sort of went to script a little bit today, I thought. Any interesting takeaways from either of you for the NFL Week 1?
Nah, it's all good, mate.
A few of the play movements have been interesting. Barkley looks like he's grown a new leg, and I don't think that's possible with how big his quads are since he's gone to the Eagles. He looked electric. And yeah, it's I enjoy what players end up doing when they go to different sides. So I think a few of the running backs might be a look to watch out. I mean, I think we spoke about it with Regan on the Thursday show. Henry went to Baltimore Ravens, and he actually looked a little bit underwhelming, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, Lamar Jackson just does whatever he wants and just runs around the field like it's a video game, but I'm not sure how big an output of his season he might end up having with Lamar there in the helm. So, yeah, a few of the play movements are going to be interesting.
I'm looking forward to Aaron Rodgers kicking off tomorrow. He opened the season last year and popped his Achilles. He's a unique man with a cannon for an arm. He's old, but he's trying everything possible to stay young. I'm looking forward to watching that as I do some form. That's NFL. Now let's talk Eyes on Ponies.
Let's do it.
Eyes on Ponies, brought to you by CTW Excavations. They will go where the big boys won't. Let's start in Sydney, Tom. IME, Bella Nipotina, Quinella, Kirramar, Quinella, the good race, on quite a tactical track, which has copped a bit of grief, would you believe it, on the socials today. Too firm, too fast. Horse welfare.
Yeah. Quite funny because when you look at it on the data and if you read Twitter, mad on pace, or Randwick mad on pace, da da da. But when you actually look at it, yes, it did favour on speed runners. If it was even race shape, there was I think there was 2 outside the first 4 that won, but those runs outside the first 4 were set up for it. But every other race was a pretty even or slow race shape, which on every track you're going to get, if it's a even track, that's going to happen anyway. So yes, it was a little bit on pace, but it's not as I didn't think it was as forward biased as Twitter was saying on Saturday. So that's what I come out of it. Because looking at from me, race 1 slow early, race 2 slow early, race 3 fast early, and come from worse than midfield. Race 4 very slow early, Redstone well bolted in. Race 5 slow early, and race 6 Manaal come from worse than midfield, and the race shape was fast. So there's a bit in that, I reckon.
100%. Redstone Wall, for example, 1200 to the 1000, 1224, then 1192, 1152, 1128, 1124. Well, you can't catch that.
Yeah, it's
race shape and it's tempo, and it's not on the track to make horses slower and make them like convene at the 300 and the fastest horse wins at the end. It's about like showing intent and putting your horse in a position to win.
I think
not a 100-metre sprint down the straight where everybody starts in the same position.
Full credit, though, to our man. I mean, just really, if he hadn't done enough damage at the SCG, which we've gone over a fair bit, and we are incredibly proud of him, your performance versus Wolf Den is pretty special. You're going to take... boys, I'm just going to go and play in a massive final and have one of the games of my life, but here's what I'm doing at Randwick as well, and I'm going to beat you.
Perhaps you did any hand this morning? No, I got all my tips. Don't stress. I'm going to look at that first and then go on to...
Well, before how I was saying Tom was anxious a little bit more than normal on the phone, I was more anxious than he was for the Swans game. I was just trying to help him, saying, like, I'll go to the big lift. I'll do whatever you need me to do at Randwick. Do you need anything? No, I've got it.
Yeah, it was...
what a win. What a horse.
Yeah, it was good. Looking at the race, Amina was huge as well. Amina was... You swap runs with Manaal, Amina wins. Amina ran the fastest everything of the race. So, yeah, it was a great race. Amina just missed. I think one that you can sort of take out of the run is Elmore Zillow was back last, missed the kick a couple of lengths, trialled really nicely. Has been up in Queensland last prep, so I just had the one trial into it. But I reckon over further, draws a good barrier and can land a little bit more forward. That's one you can follow out of that race.
So if these 3-year-old fillies meet again, you're leaning that way, or is it Amina as well?
Yeah, it would be. I think. I think you can. depending on map. It'd depend on map because Amina can actually push forward from a decent gate. So Amina
tactical versatility.
Yeah, so I think if Amina was to draw inside and Manaal wide, I'd be leaning towards Manaal, and Elmore Zillow, you'll get a price compared to those two. That's for sure.
I Am Me has destroyed the clock the last 600, even from the 800. These are unbelievable numbers. I'm just looking at them now. 10.64. 10 seconds, 0.64 from the 800 to the 600. Then a 10.68. Then a 10.48. Then a 10.96. 4 sub-11 sectionals to win the Group 2 Concord, Group 3 Concord Stakes over 1,000 metres. Wow.
Balla was huge late as well. It's just an absolute, what a weapon of a horse. Like, you'd love to own it, wouldn't you? I don't know. But yeah, I Am Me, huge first up. It's going to be interesting to see how those sort of, like, you'd be looking at the Everest, if they get a slot. Does it get a slot? Like Giga Kick was unsuited. There was an even race shape there. It was back worse in midfield, 3 wide, no cover. So it'd be interesting to see how that comes out of the run. Way to the Stars was huge on speed. That would have been a bloody, I think that was a black booker from that was a black booker from last time it ran. It's ran third at $61. Don't know, just sort of
at the 300. I'm going. That's not still Way to the Stars out in front, and I haven't had a cent on. And I think it paid $12 the place or $11 a place.
Because out of that Rose Hill meeting where it was really not suited to be leading.
It's a big step up though. Like, it was a 78, I reckon, or a 72 that ran in last start, and it's fucking come out and done that in a Group 2.
Obviously got favours because it was a bit. Yeah. It was an even race shape, but anyway. But
what about Aft Cabin? You backed it? Not suited versus race shape, but not enormous at the same time.
Nah. I don't think. I think it's probably it's best at 1,000 and was held up, but just didn't hit the line as nice. It's sort of be interesting to see how it comes out. But I thought a little sneaky run was Moravia. Went back to the inside. Trialled very well. Zav gave it a really nice trial report, and it was first time over 1,000. I think once 1,200 plus, and it's a real sneaky run up the rail and sort of late, sort of pulled on and didn't get a run late over the last 100. Wasn't it? Like, it's come not ninth, but drops down to a Group 2 or Group 3 or listed. I reckon that could be a good bet.
Private Eye gone better than Giga Kick. That's what the numbers say.
Yep. Or Giga Kick 3 wide, no cover. Private Eye sort of had Giga Kick's back with cover, so you can sort of weigh it up. But yeah, Private Eye hit the line nicely. I think 1,200's obviously that's go, and has got some really good numbers, and has ran in Everest. Yeah, it ran in the Everest last year, I reckon. So
won one, hasn't it? Or
one Private Eye won at Everest.
Did it?
Yeah.
What was it? Think about it.
Those Silks have won an Everest. It was
Think about it one, didn't it?
Sorry, Private Eye did run second. That was
right.
Think
about it.
That's one. That's a fine for Pratty.
Yeah, add it to the bill.
That's a fine. $2, mate. Put it in the
hand. And there's a horse. The other last horse sort of want to follow is Power of Opals. This is
you're tonking me here.
Yeah. This is unfortunate we've missed the price. Well, some have, but. Huge run in race 1, not suited at all. Back last, Jetty Stanley. He's coming out wide down the middle. Just huge splits, just absolutely hooning home with a lightweight. That will get over first. The fastest last 200, 100 of the meeting. Or fourth fastest, sorry, last 200, 100 of the meeting. We'll be getting further. Its mother come third in an Oaks, and I reckon it'll be on the way to the Oaks this prep. So it's probably not. It's not a price that you want to be backing it, but yeah, I think someone might have got around 40s that I know of, so which is nice.
Oh yeah. Has he got a black eye and you see him every night when you brush your teeth?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
I hope you brush your teeth every night, the amount of shit you eat.
Yeah, fuck.
They'll fall
But
out.
that's Randwick, mate. It was actually nice to sort of, well, yes and no, to watch them today for the first time. But I would rather watch them on Saturday, which I'll be doing this Saturday. Like Couch will be getting a workout, and yeah, I'll be watching the horses, which will be nice.
Shall we chat about the Moir?
All right. Let's go to the Valley, the 36-year-old Strathair track. It just looks like a good joint when you're not there. It is a good joint when you are there. It's a great size. It's a great shape. You can see the horses parade. You can see them in the stalls. You can get beers at ease. There's grass. There's tables. There's everything you ever want at the races, and it's nice and close. Only time the Valley hasn't been big enough was when Winx was there. Otherwise, it's the perfect size. And it was rocking on Saturday. 10 of the best. Remember, a couple of big owners had a horse that couldn't win once, and they wanted the joint torn down because of the track. It raced outstanding there on Saturday. It races pretty well more often than not. It's a short, straight, big corner track. I thought it did an outstanding job. And full credit to Marty Sign and his team. Some of the tempos there on Saturday were very, very tricky and very testing mentally. We opened the batting with... We just watched the first ball sort of come out, P-Rat, and it was just lobbing outside off, and we just got a good sider. Didn't even sort of shoulder arms, you know what I mean? Just watched it go
Just
past.
stood there and went, what the fuck was
And
that?
the second
Right,
ball
easy.
came down, and we did a Matty Hayden. We were like walking at it. And how we didn't score runs, I'll never know. Written in code, I think, should have won. The more I've reviewed the race, I think she's in hindsight like a $2 chance. No knock at all, Blake Shin. Just an absolute car crash of race shape and tempo. He jagged the back of a horse that should have been put into the race and would have been, but there was a bit of tempo put on outside. As soon as they found their spots, they all hit the handbrake. It was very, very, very frustrating way to kick off the card. And the tempos from that point on, Tommy, they were off their heads. So we saw a walk, and then some of the most brutal tempos of all time. These brutal tempos, I don't know what to do with moving forward, because you got to trust the horse and the camp, which I tell you to do as a rule. But I'm talking the big stables. We saw a horse like Station 1 back up off the brutal tempo at Caulfield. That's a situation where I probably wouldn't trust the camp. And it went awful. Nails Murphy backed up a really good performance, I thought, at the start prior. But it was a thin market, Praddy, as I spoke to you about, where I sort of couldn't get rid of Regal Zeus and one or two others. So I sat out. Lincoln Rocks, Mark Zara. I should have just taken the price and just closed my eyes and trusted the King Kong was going to just slot this thing right in the sweet spot.
Right in the
Absolute
Christmas.
PR. Yeah, just one of the great rides all time.
Mm.
A little deep, progressive filly, now a listed winner. Very lucky to beat Lazy Susan. Once upon a time, Moe. One of the sickest beats of all time. Bo Merton's got held up on the fence for about 800 metres of a 1,000-metre race.
Oh,
Remember that?
yeah.
Oh, it was crook.
I thought Karen's ride on Samarium.
Well said.
Really
Crack
fast.
that again?
Samarium. The Godolphin thing.
That's race 6, number 2.
Yeah, the three-year-old
sorry.
filly. Really nice ride. Nice enough horse. The number's plain, but I think the form's good. Perhaps that's that horse where you really helped me with your note from Sydney, where it was really good versus Amina.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
And Amina
did
and
it tough on
Manaal,
speed.
and they've gone and run a big number in Sydney, same horses, whereas they haven't run a big number at Moonee Valley. Now, I'm sort of sitting on the fence and trusting the form a little bit more than the number until proven otherwise. Just sort of being safe with that horse.
Yeah.
Angel Capital.
That's what I was just sort of looking here. On punting form, it's a real low number. GTX, it's similar. So that'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. Well, on top rate, sorry.
It's a low number there too.
Nah, it's not bad. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's because it's a listed race. So
Yeah, right, yeah.
and it's worth 175. So yeah, I'm leaning towards the top rate style with this horse and this race. You've also got to just beat what you're up against. So you don't have to be a superstar. You just got to beat the other 3-year-old fillies. And there's like two races from every single Saturday in Sydney and one in Melbourne. So,
Yep.
Angel Capital, really nice return. Thoughts and prayers with anything trying to beat it moving forward would be my view. And very much thoughts and prayers. Mackenzie Stakes, race 7. Shout out to Far. Horror watch on FMLs. Absolute horror watch.
Lucky not to come off.
I really like it might have been the Australian debut of Sergeant Major, who was the horse that John Allen sort of interfered with before the top of the straight. D Lane rode it. I thought it got through the line really nicely. Red Sea, shit the bed, Extreme Diamond, plain. Public attention half held up behind Red Sea, but Basuto had complete PR, so it avoided it next start at all costs. And Stolly Bolly was good, 3 wide, no cover. I thought it's a really, really tricky race to stamp anything confidently out of, because you're either ignoring the data and just trusting the SPs and the hype around FMLs, or you're going the other way. And I think we just wait and give it another race to learn before we heavily invest, unless they give you a huge price FMLs. Pericles, birthday stuff in the So You Think Stakes. Absolute PR. Avoid at all costs next start, but don't go against it, because he's a nice horse. Really nice type, Scurry says. Pistol stamped. Just had the absolute PR though, so we don't want to back horses that had the perfect run next start. Independent Road, I thought, was a really good return, as well as Intermediacy and Muramasa. Intermediacy, potential value, I thought, next start, along with Independent Road. The Moir boys, the 1,000 metre Group 1, weight for age. Shout out to Gavin Bedgegood, who rang me just after the Swans game had wrapped up, and he said, how good was that? What a win. And I sort of just cut him off and started talking about Paps and Chad. How good was Chad late? And Isaac, and he's just a freak. Like, he was good all day, but some of the stuff he did late was just special. And I love Joel's tackles. I was going on, and then I realised he was talking about Mornington Glory, who won a Group 1 at Moonee Valley on Saturday. So shout out to Gavin Bedgegood, now Group 1 Gavin. Absolute peach tactically. Ethan Brown controlled the race and got off the fence. The fence was inferior ground there on Saturday. Hayasugi returned really well and got a big rap from Peter in the yard, which the subs get, like the podcast today, Praddy. Lady Camelot, I thought tough when headed. Australia, 3 wide, no cover. You can forgive. I wish I win. Good, not suited. On track for a 1,200 metre race. Coleman, I thought the sneaky one here, perhaps, don't know where it goes. Kabulis, fastest last 100 metres of the day, getting beat 3.6 in a Group 1 on a horse that has a bit of tactical speed and went back to last.
Ran in Sydney a fair bit that horse last prep.
Yep.
Then ran down the straight behind Estriella in that 1,200 metre race at Flemington.
And then the last race, Miss Aria, B-Shin. You thought he was good on Thursday, punters on the Genius. Well, this was probably better. Slow away, up the fence, zigged and zagged, got it all perfect. This horse looked like it grew wings. It didn't. It just was better than everything else in this race. Black Shin is a freak and a very, very, very good rider to bet on.
Yeah, we've got some good races on Saturday. We've got the Mackay Diva in Flemington. We've got a few nice races in Sydney. One I want to be getting and taking now before the barriers
set on a Monday.
Yeah, set on Monday. I'm happy to follow here before the barriers and jockeys are named. Hen Lane, how do you say it, at $11, all in markets in the Ming Dynasty quality, is a nice bet.
Anthony and Sam Freeman train.
Yep, $3.50 the place, $11 the win. Have something spring champion as well. Multium, do what you want. And just pray to God it wins. And then if it wins on Saturday, it'll be shortening the spring champion. You'll have, it'll be a nice day.
Yeah, so it's $11 and $3.50 this weekend in the Ming Dynasty. Now, I've had to scroll a little bit in the Spring Champion. Somebody has already knocked off the price. It's $26 and $7.50 in the Spring Champion Stakes.
Nice, take that.
Love it. That might do us for the week, Dicko. What do you reckon?
I think that's it for the Early Crow episode 49, brought to you by Makita. This episode was all about our man your man, T. Papley, and the performance that he put on Saturday. We're in awe of you, my man. Like, unbelievable. Very, very proud of you. I hope you kick back and actually enjoy what you did for a little bit, if you haven't already. This episode is brought to you by Makita. Right now, get amazing bonuses with selected Makita XGT 40 volt and 80 volt max kits and combos. Limited time only. Visit makita.com.au for details. Makita XGT. More intelligent, more efficient, more power, more Makita.